Hi, I'm Bibi.
And I'm Stephen.
And we are
Just Another Knitting Podcast.
Welcome to all our new people and welcome to those coming back. We appreciate you. We're going to crack straight into it today.
Okay, straight in.
Shall we? Well, because you're wearing a bit of a stunner, so we need to talk about it straight away.
Okay, straight away.
Everyone always comments on this jumper. Tell us about what you're
wearing.
When
I wear it. Okay, so today I am wearing Bolt by Maxim Cyr, or also known as Max the Knitter. So this is the last one of the jerseys in my wardrobe that I've actually pulled out or had to pull out.
Oh, that's your last one.
You've
You've been through them all, and so if you watched all the shows, you'd see all of your jumpers.
You will have seen all the jumpers that I've knit. Some of them repeatedly, but I've always said that this one's it's been a bit warm to wear this one. So,
but it's finally cooling down here.
It is.
Like for people in North America, sorry, we know you're coming into summer, but and we look like we're maybe too warm for you, but it's finally getting quite cold here.
That's right, yeah. So we went camping on the weekend and it was quite cold up in the caravan, and so this particular jersey managed to make it out of the wardrobe, so I thought what better time than to wear it on podcast.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting onto the knit.
Bolt.
Bolt, yeah. It is, for some, I'm not really sure why it's called Bolt, you know.
I know.
Oh, really? So anyway, yeah, no, it was...
Like an optical illusion bolt.
It caught my attention as being something just a little bit different. So, yeah, so obviously there's the optical illusion on the chest piece.
The Harry Potter bolt.
It is. Yeah, well, just in the wrong place, not on my head. Anyway, so the knit itself, I saw it as my first chance to do intarsia.
So that's how those side pieces are done.
That's correct. So
basically,
you
go colour work across there, but intarsia on the sides.
That's correct. So it's kind of like a real light introduction to intarsia. There's only sort of like, you know, one little intarsia join here and one intarsia join here, and then that's that. So even then, I don't think I did particularly well, but
you can't tell.
You can't really tell unless you. I mean, all of the stitches are kind of be smooshed aside, so it looks fine. So this is also knit in Outlaw Yarn's Nouveau.
Discontinued.
It's a discontinued yarn, but also
we will get a new yarn soon.
Very soon, yes, we promise. So this is the yarn which is sort of notorious for pilling. So I was kind of a bit nervous, but I knit this on a 4mm needle, and so far I've worn this jersey a lot, and it's held up quite well.
I don't think you've de-pilled it yet, have you?
No, I've never actually de-pilled it. It's starting to fluff a little under the arms here, where it sort of generally rubs. I wear it to work occasionally. Have worn it in the past, and it's like it's really fluffy. So it sort of fluffs rather than pills.
Nouveau is 100% Polworth. You can still buy 100% Polworth yarn in New Zealand. And,
yes.
Like Wild Earth sell it. So, yeah.
And this is a worsted spun one as well. So, but anyway, the thing is, it's super soft. I mean, it's kind of like my dream yarn in sort of in terms of softness. And I think that's almost its downfall. You know, I often find myself just kind of like...
Yeah, that's weird. Especially at work. You shouldn't do that.
Well, maybe not at work, yeah.
Not at all.
But anyway, it's really soft and really fluffy, and I really enjoy it. The garment itself was knit flat and seamed. So,
yep.
Yeah, I it was an interesting journey, the knit on this one, actually. You know, I took your advice.
Yeah, that's right.
I took Bibi's advice, because she often says, you know, remember, don't knit when you're doing sort of top down, don't knit the top or cast on the top of the neck, but sort of cast on the base of the neck, so that way that you can sort of knit the neck up later, and you've got a much better chance. But how would you be doing
that if you're knitting flat anyway? You would be picking up the neckline.
That's the bit I forgot. So what I did was, you know, what's the average stitch count of a raglan in the round knit? It's about 100 odd stitches. So the first thing I read was cast on 100 stitches, or whatever it was. And then I thought, aha, I'm going to follow Bibi's advice. So I cast on 100 stitches, and then I was knitting away, and then I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is bottom up. I was like, there's a lot of stitches here, that's a big neckline, and so I investigated further, and because I was just knitting the back, panel, it kind of seemed
It was bottom up, not top down.
It was bottom up. So obviously this is bottom up, seamed. So
you hadn't knit the bottom ribbing. You'd skip the bottom ribbing.
I'd skip the bottom ribbing.
And you'd cast on. It's not like you'd provisionally cast on.
Well, it was like a provisional cast on.
No, it's not though, because you haven't got live stitches.
Well, no, I'd cast on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I had to do was I left the cable in that I'd cast on, and then I basically cast on or knit into the cast on and then knit up. So basically for a short while I actually was like growing it in both directions. So when I got tired...
so you did have live stitches.
Oh yes, I had live stitches.
Right.
So what happened was, as I got sick of doing stockinette, in fact I got up to sort of like about sort of like here. That was just before I started the colour work. I was like, I'm sick of stockinette now. I'm going to knit some ribbing.
This. It felt like complete chaos at the time. So you cast on and knit up in stockinette, and then you'd get bored of doing stockinette, so then you knitted the ribbing stitches, and so you were knitting up and down at the same time.
That is correct.
Ribbing
yes.
down and stockinette up.
Yeah. And then because I'd done it on the first panel, I had to repeat the whole mistake the second time around for the back panel.
I would love to hear you telling Maxim Cyr this.
Yeah, well, if he watches the podcast.
Well, we have met him. You could have talked to him about it.
Yeah, well, you could say there was another bolt in the out in the wild that I saw as well at Rhinebeck.
At Rhinebeck, yeah.
So anyway, getting back to the jersey, it was an interesting knit. I also had recently finished single mole that you've seen, and you would have just heard me talking about my lazy cast off at the bottom of that.
And it's a bit tight.
And it was a bit tight, so I had that in my mind when I did it. So I had the brilliant idea, because this is a 2x2 rib.
Yeah, I was just saying that.
Yep. Well, across the bottom, I actually... the cast off I used on this was actually Judy's surprisingly stretchy bind off.
Did you?
Yeah, it's the first and only time
It's the
first and only time I've ever used it.
It's so bad. I mean, it's fine. I've never noticed it.
No,
so.
clearly no one's never ever noticed it until they just get it pointed out. But,
but it has it has holes in it. Jeez.
It does.
Yeah, it's fine for like socks or something, or baby knits or whatever, things you're not going to really see.
Yeah. So this was a bit of an experiment. But, it's a nice jersey. And one thing I will say about it, of all the jerseys I've ever knit, this is the one that fits me the best. It's like, it's got the best fit across the shoulders.
Seed and sleeve. So thinking about what we were saying last week, and if you didn't, last episode, if you didn't watch that, we had quite the chat about fit and raglan fit. So conclusion though, it means that it fits nicely across here.
It does.
It fits on your
it sits nicely on my shoulder. Yep, right there.
The arm length is perfect.
A little bit long, but that's because it's got a long cuff on it by design.
It's not long.
I know. It's good. I'm happy with it.
And fits in the body.
It fits nicely in the body. It's got just the right amount of ease and the right length.
So what do we conclude from that? Seamed, set and sleeve. Well, and that's why I'm interested in the idea of doing a set and sleeve, but with a saddle shoulder, so that you don't have to seam it.
Yeah, seaming's not fun. I'm not the best seamer in the world.
And a few people posted examples of saddle shoulders and other things, good pattern suggestions, which I've of course saved them all, and now I have to knit them all. But that will be a interesting experiment to try something like that. I think this Stick Season by Rebecca Clow might be a saddle shoulder. She does have a saddle shoulder that's for men and women. Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I am actually, it did occur to me as I put this back on, it was like, I really do like the fit of this one. So I will be getting out with the tape measure and and seeing what I can do with regards to the specs for bibliophile when I get to that, and I'll be making sure that they're very similar to this one.
Bearing in mind that a pre-blocked garment is smaller than a post-block garment, so what you actually need to do every time when you're knitting with a new yarn You listening?
What?
It's actually measure it before and after, because there's no,
yeah.
like, you're measuring something after blocking and after wearing against something that is pre-blocked. So if you didn't swatch and then measure, swatch before and after, so you don't know. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you should take notes as well, because often you'll go back and you forget, because I'm pretty sure I swatched for Bibliophile, and I'm pretty sure
You did. You made a tiny swatch and you unravelled it.
Oh, yeah, it was...
You didn't block
it was full width. That's what I was trying to remember, if I blocked it or not.
You didn't. Because you unravelled, you were like, yeah, that's close enough, and unravelled it.
Oh, yeah, even if it grows, it'll be fine, yeah.
It's within the margin of error.
Hey, look, I've done a full swatch for Henry VIII.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay.
So anyway, this is Bolt, Maxim Cyr. It is a great pattern. I had a lot of fun knitting it. It was one of those ones where you could just see the pattern emerging on the front. The yarn was just delicious to knit with.
And just a really good introduction to Intarsia, just to knit something on the front. So that's a good bit of information.
Yes. The one thing I was really a bit nervous about was when I actually came to block this, was whether or not the black would run into the white.
Or whether you could see the...
Yeah, if there was any colour bleed.
Yeah, yeah.
But fortunately there wasn't, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
So what are you wearing, Peter?
I'm wearing White Mountains by Midori Hirose, most well known for knitting the ranunculus, which was one of the most popular patterns on Ravelry. And because I really liked the ranunculus when I finally got to making it, I had a look at her catalogue, and she's got some other really beautiful patterns, and I wanted to make just... this was my first example of making a non-standard raglan. So the jumper itself, okay, so it's called White Mountains. The yarn is hedgehog fibres, the colourway June, and this is the Aran weight yarn. It's very soft and squishy, really drapey, like it's a beautiful yarn. But the raglan is I can't remember exactly, but you can actually see it has raglan increasing on the outside, on the arm, but not on the inside, on the body.
Okay.
For the first few rounds until you get to here, and then it does raglan increasing on both. And I think it's on every row. I can't remember, because it basically comes out and then rapidly decreases, rapidly goes down.
Right, so it gives you more width at the top.
Yeah. And I really like it. It's a really good fit. It's super cozy, but it's also... I really like this fit. Like, I feel like it fits me how I want it to fit me.
And was the twisted rib collar in the pattern, or is that something that you added?
Good question. Yes. Yeah, I was looking at the pattern picture before. Yes. It was my first example of half twisted rib.
Right.
Yeah, and I do like it. It was the first time I realised that actually the ribbing looks much neater like this, because my ribbing's quite... doing 2x2 rib looks neat, because you're not doing a knit and then a purl.
Yep.
But knit one purl one always looks untidy for me.
Especially if you're down on a fingering weight, I always find the gaps between the stitches almost bigger than the thread. And
I usually go down, like if I'm knitting on a 4mm needle, I'll go down to a 3mm needle to get a really good 1x1 rib. Or the other thing I do, if I don't want to do that, because it does make a very dense fabric, is to do a twisted rib instead, because it looks much neater. People say you just turn it around, do a German short row and knit on the wrong side, do the wrong side on the outside.
Yep, I've had a go at that. I can't remember on what, but I've definitely done that before as well.
I remember you trying that.
Yep, I mean, that's the fun of knitting, right? It's just
trying
things out. Judy Stretchy bind off. Knitting in both directions at once.
Yes. Yeah, so I really love this knit. It's one I bust out in winter. It's it's nice and big and long. I'll stand up. So it's quite long. It comes down kind of below my bum.
Yeah. Cozy knit.
Yeah, it's a good cozy knit. So yeah, as Stephen said, we went away for a night up the coast a little bit. It's quite chilly here. We were staying in a caravan, and we went out. It was like a beach.
Yeah, there was snow on the mountains beside us. So
Yeah.
not on the ground, but just
Yes.
on the hills. So.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing about New Zealand is snow on the mountains, which we can see, which are just there, but also we're at the beach.
Yeah, in bright sunny days.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, just really cold nights.
And yeah, so we were kind of on the beach lighting a fire and kind of hanging out. It was really nice.
Toasting a few marshmallows.
Yeah, nice and warm and toasty in our knitwear.
Yes. Okay, so that's what we've got on. What about things that we've finished over the last couple of weeks? Well, I know that my pantry is bare. Once again.
Unapologetically, guys.
Yeah, all of the bang was last week.
Yeah.
Or last episode. It's going to be a couple more weeks before
it's going to be a wee while.
Something else pops out.
Yep. Because if you're going to knit complicated things, all complex things, then it's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah, it's the journey.
Yep, and we're all about the journey.
Yep.
So sometimes I think we both get a little bit anxious when we're like, oh, who's got an FO? But we just need to embrace the fact that that we don't always need to come to this show every 2 weeks, mind you, with something finished.
Yeah, I mean it's a good signpost for us and a good almost like a diary as to what we've been up to, because
that's why we did it, right?
Yeah, because frankly, it was like, ask me when I started knitting Redford or anything like that, and I've got no idea. But hey, now I've got a 2 week slice of life, knitting life.
I have some FOs.
You do, that's correct.
So
I'm looking forward to seeing them.
I knitted. Oh, I don't have them. I had knitted 2 beanies. So I mentioned on the show last time that I had a annual general meeting for an organisation that I was the co-president. I am no longer. I stood down. But I offered to knit the speakers at the AGM a hat. It was started out being 1 speaker and then 2 people were coming. So I knitted 2 hats quickly. And they were the basic beanie. It was a 2x2 rib beanie. Stephen will have put a picture up of them. And it's a really good basic pattern, because if you don't know who you're knitting for, 2x2 rib's really stretchy, so it'll fit a lot of heads. It looks really narrow, so it'll fit in a smaller head, but it'll actually stretch out quite far if somebody's got a lot of hair or a big head. And you knit it. I knit the folded brim version, so basically people have a shorter or narrower or longer forehead, so they can either fold it up more or fold it up less depending on how they want to wear it, or you can wear it like with a little peak showing at the top. So it's a really good basic. It's a Tin Can Knits. Did I say that?
Yes. I don't know.
The Tin Can Knits basic beanie, and it's just a really good basic pattern. It has a 1x1 rib, 2x2 rib, 3x1 rib version, and then a folded brim or a straight brim version, which is actually just about how long you knit it for. And they were delighted with them. It was knit in Aspen DK weight, which is a woolen spun yarn. I knit 1 in Cypress and 1 in Carnelian, which you would have seen, and they were delighted with them. It was so cute. They both put them on straight away at the end of their speech, and then wore them around. We had like a cup of tea, and people got to talk to them, and they were both wearing them the whole time that they were talking, which was very cute. And the talk was all about sustainability and climate change, and it was really nice to be able to give them something that was handmade, that was also locally sourced product, because the Wild Earth yarn is from sheep in our local area and produced end to end in the South Island where we're from. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
It felt really good to be able to do that. So that was FO number 1. One and 2. And the other one is my Kate Davies. So, yay! I'm going to put it on because I'm so pleased with it.
It looks so good. I mean...
it's amazing, guys. Oh, it's got bits of my next knit on it. So Kate Davies, this is called the Iola, and I knit this in Rebel Rapture, which is by Outlaw Yarn, and it's a merino silk blend, so 80% merino, 20% silk, which means that it's not too soft. It has good structure. The yarn has good structure, which I thought would be good for the pattern on it.
Oh, definitely. And it really is good for the pattern too,
Yeah,
I think. It's got such good definition.
Yep. And what can I say about it? It's got like a pattern on the back as well. I've worn it to work a couple of times. As usual, got a few good comments. It also has locally sourced buttons. So these are made out of bamboo, and they're from Lisa Tif Designs, who's a local New Zealander. She's local to the South Island, in fact, designer. I'm just going to put it on so you can see it. Yeah, she has a range of buttons. So I bought some of those from her. And bamboo is good. It means that they're sustainably made, because bamboo grows fast. Here's the jumper. I probably will wear it mostly like it's a jumper.
Yeah.
Particularly in winter, and I think it's a good transitional garment the rest of the time, like spring and autumn.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cardigans that look kind of better done up to the top.
I really like it. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea to have it like that. I did 2 little buttons at the top so that I could button it all the way to the top. That's how Kate had done hers as well. The only thing I find a bit weird is that the button bands fold over each other, and so the button band is actually over to the side.
Right.
Because the other half of the button band is there, that's the 2 button bands running down in.
Because the buttonholes are kind of unique, aren't
They're right on the edge of the, they're made in I-cord and they're right on the edge of the knit. So the buttonhole is there and the button is there. So the button's right on the inside and the buttonhole is right on the outside.
Yeah. So.
But I kind of like that. It's kind of slightly off centre.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those decisions where you can either have them, or you think about
together.
whether they join right end to end, or overlap to the middle, or as you've got it, kind of like create just one band.
Yeah, because my other option was putting it in the middle, and I gave that a go, and it actually looked really bad.
Yeah.
I didn't like the look of it at all. Or putting them right on the edge, like put the button on the edge and then the buttonhole on the edge, but then I didn't want it to create like a gap, like they would gape in between buttons, especially through the middle. So I had a look at some of the pictures. Ravelry's a really good resource. I looked at a bunch of pictures of how other people had done it, buttoned up and unbuttoned, and how I kind of made a decision about how I wanted them to be before I did it. And then I had a couple of goes at different versions. So it sort of looks like. I absolutely love it. It's a great fit. Like, it fits just how I'd like it to. I will say I did a basic bind off.
Oh, right.
Didn't tell you that.
No.
And I can feel it, but it's a cardigan. I was like, a cardigan doesn't really matter. It does really matter. Although, I mean, feel it.
Especially if you do it like a jersey. There's not a lot of stretch
There's not a lot of give in it. But honestly, some of my garments flare a little bit, like the White Mountains does. And I really wanted it to be, like, I wanted the waistband to sit on my waist.
Yep.
And I wanted it to not bag at all.
Yeah, in all honesty, that's something that I've been considering as well. And, I will often think about maybe just doing a simple bind off just so that I can comfortably know that the bottom isn't going to, stretch out.
Yeah. Yeah, either that or when, like for the cuffs, because I knitted them quite tight. I wanted them to be quite tight.
Yeah.
I knitted them... when I bound them off, I did a needle sew-in bind off, Italian bind off. That what they call?
Yeah, Italian.
I did it quite tight.
Yeah. Because
I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to flare out, and it doesn't. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the sort of things that you kind of learn as to what works for you and what doesn't as you go along.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're finding anyway. The more different sort of jerseys we knit.
Yeah. Once you know how to knit and purl, and you can read a pattern, then that's the stuff that starts to matter, is the finishing touches and kind of being able to make good decisions about the fit that you want rather than what's in the pattern. I mean, most of the time I'm going to trust someone like Kate Davies. She is an amazing knitwear designer, but there are some elements of knitwear that I want to make my own decisions about.
Fair enough. So,
what are we up to?
Move on to whips, or?
Yes, let's move. Yeah, I'm finished. Kate Davies,
Okay.
Iola, finished. Ta-da! Love the colour, by the way. I did say this is his Outlaw Yarn, and you can buy this one. This is discontinued. Yeah, you can still buy this. And she, when I got this, I don't think there were a ton of colours, but some beautiful colours. And this yarn was so nice to knit with. And not a skerrick of a pill or even any fluffing. It's going to hold up really well. I will definitely knit with it again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try the Rhapsody at some point.
You need to. You'll love it because you really like the knits.
I do like the knits. I like yarns that have got good stitch definition.
Yeah, which this has. Yeah, knits is also a 80% merino and 20% silk, which Outlaw used to make.
Yeah, I think once I'm well and truly sick of colour work, which
will be in about 100 years from now.
And I get back into cable jerseys. The next cable jersey I knit, I think, will be in something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let's move on to whips.
Whips, yeah, chit-chatting.
Your turn.
I will just quickly run through what I've mainly been working on over the last couple of weeks. It may not look like there's a lot of progress, but there's a lot of knitting in some of these things.
Especially when you make a mistake and then you have to tank and then the swearing, and I'm just like, pretend I can't hear any of it.
So, this is Glenesque.
It's been a journey.
By Jade Starmore. I've now fully completed...
Look at it, guys!
2 pattern repeats.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm about 1 pattern repeat away from sleeve separation.
It's beautiful. The yarn is stunning.
It is. The yarn it's got a really nice
soft,
feel to
but
it.
But also it's soft and
carpety at the same time.
It is carpety. That's I mean, that doesn't sound flattering, but it feels so nice.
Windproof would be another good word.
Yeah, you're gonna die of overheat. I think I'm gonna have to wear this.
It's gonna be really good. So one of the things that I'm thinking about now. We can put that down now.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm thinking about now is making sure that the length of this is going to be right.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to do is...
If your needles are going
to... The last thing I want to do is really, start the steeks for the armholes and then realise belatedly that it's going to be a little bit short because honestly there is
sweater surgery on
zero scope for adding length to this. You need
so
to get
is it
right.
worthwhile to block it once you get to the sleeve part a steek?
That actually might be a good action. I mean,
and
often,
then you can compare it against something that you've already got.
Yeah, and give it a good measure as well. That's true. I've never blocked a jersey halfway through, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, people swear by it.
Yeah, so
we're just super lazy.
I hate blocking. It's the thing one of the things like when I did
that's why you didn't finish Redford. I ended up blocking that for you.
Yeah, and St. Bridget, my all over cable Aran, weight jersey, sat for like 3 or 4 weeks before I finished, just waiting blocking.
Well, and how long did Redford sit there? 2 years?
Yeah.
18 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like knitting, don't like blocking.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Admin. It feels like admin.
Yeah. Too much like hard work.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I've been working on, and this has really only had a couple more rounds added to it, is Bibliophile 3 by Alicia Plummer. So this is knit in Wild Earth Yarns Somerset, and the colour is grape. I've nearly finished I'm nearly at sleeve separation, so it's a compound raglan knit.
So similar to the White Mountains?
It is similar, so I'm going to start trying to put it on some barber's cord or something and sort of try it on and before I actually get to
That's a good idea.
Separating the sleeves.
Even if you can try it against another garment that you like the fit of, like the single moult.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Because I have been warned with the bibliophile patterns that often they have small sleeves small
Holes.
sleeve holes.
Yeah, they do.
So I need to be super careful with that.
Mine doesn't, but Corrington had trouble with that, and that's probably a men versus woman thing.
It could be, although I don't think he knit the Bibliophile 3 pattern either. So
Yeah, maybe.
So it could just be pattern determined.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the difference is between 1, 2
There's
and 3 are.
there really is a very distinct style with some knitters that they have skinny sleeves. Like Kate has skinny sleeves. Like this is a tight sleeve for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind a tight sleeve. This one
I cast on,
has stretched a wee bit, but it's
I
nice.
cast on an extra 8 stitches under the arm.
Oh, right.
Imagine how tight it would have been.
That would
And
have
it
been
means
very
that
tight,
I did
yeah.
more decreasing. So I was decreasing all the way to the cuff. But yeah, it would have been quite tight under the arm. And I was just aware that I've made a few Kate Davies patterns, and most of them are a little tight in the arm. So
Right.
I did some extra, is it 8 or 4? And some extra stitches under the arm. I need to make a note of that.
Indeterminate. Yeah, that's what I say notes. And
It was 4. I did two on either side of the, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that was Bibliophile, and then I do have one last whip that I am currently working on. So in my future plans, I mentioned
Hardly seen Stephen the last 2 days.
that I was going to start on the Dun Cuff by Alice Starmore. So.
Yeah. You always know when Stephen's up to something, when he's very quiet.
So
he's developing something new.
So this is the latest version of
You
it.
even stuffed it.
It's stuffed. You stuff it as you go. So it's basically a cuff. Oh, not for me. This is for BB.
On my arm.
Oh, yeah, you can put it on your arm.
Excuse me.
Hang on. Let's just move it onto the cord part. So it'll go. It has bits at the side, so it's way too short at the moment. It has like a button band where you can put buttons on. But if you want to hang on to it, so
Yeah.
here we go. Let you do it. So it's really a bit of a craft project. It's
gorgeous.
It's like popcorn knitting, and it's an exercise in colour matching, which I think I'm not doing super great at, but
because you don't have exact colours that she specifies.
she doesn't specify colours. It's like it's a mix and make up your own. So it's like building your own swatch. And I haven't knit one before, so I'm not exactly sure what the finished product looks like and like which colours
Can you
go
not
where.
see examples of them?
I can, but I don't have those specific colours. So I've kind of done a little bit of that. So I'm mainly using the Briodag colour palette.
Yeah, it looks really good so far.
And I've just added in some Red Deer, which is kind of a really bold reddish.
It's cute, and it's very regal looking.
Yes. So it's actually.
I'm going to look insane, but in a good way.
The cuffs are amazing. I just think they look really good as a part of one of, you get your
As
eagle
an
collar
outfit.
on. Yeah, as an outfit. And you can put.
If you could get those finished for Wool Feast, that would be great. That's in 4 weeks.
Yeah, and your thing is with these, you don't need 2. They don't have to come in pairs.
They absolutely do.
There's multiple ways of knitting them. That you can put flares on them. You can leave them without flares. They can be different colours. So it's kind of like it's a little bit of a chaotic craft project.
Can you please make me matching ones though?
I'll make you matching ones, yes. But I can see me knitting quite a number of these just because they're actually quite fun.
Yeah.
So far. Except for maybe the first little roll over edge.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy that.
I made the mistake of doing it in a dark yarn, and picking up stitches in the cast on is not fun in a dark yarn, particularly when it's dark. So I actually wound up doing that under one of those ring lights with the magnifying glass through it, so I could actually see which stitches I was supposed to be going into.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Dun Cuff, it's not a pattern you can actually just go out and buy, I don't believe. So the pattern...
This is very Alice Starmore.
It is. The pattern actually comes as a part of Alice Starmore's creative course number 2, I believe.
So you buy the course and you get
Buy the
videos?
course, and basically you get a whole range of videos on how to do all these different techniques. And all of these techniques basically go into building and creating the Dun Cuff. So that's kind of why it's such an interesting knit, because really this is the output of a craft project.
It's really like shoot me in the face. But you love it, so that's great.
It is. I'm using and getting better at techniques. It also, she points out that, this little bit here with these colourwork seed stitches are actually, superb practice for tensioning colourwork. So if you can actually get those so that they're all evenly spaced and they're not puckering or anything, then your colourwork tension is spot on. Stuffing, I've never stuffed anything before. It's actually interesting. Knitting around the stuffing is a whole different feeling. It's like the tension on the stitches, the live stitches, is that little bit different, and there's something in the way. So
what a fun adventure for you.
Yes. So,
and then for me when I get to wear them.
Exactly. So I will be knitting and experimenting quite a bit with these. I can see it as a fun project, which is just a little bit more interesting than knitting different colour swatches. So there might be quite a kaleidoscope that you get to choose from.
Yay!
So yeah, done cuff. Work in progress. I'm enjoying it way too much.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not even for me.
Yay. Okay, next. Me?
Yes,
me
next.
next.
It's
me,
on to
me,
you. You've
me,
been through
me.
my whips. Yep.
Okay, so I have made very little progress on my sock, just starting with that. So I've managed, I think I'm at the what's the other bit called? The heel flap. But I kind of need to make that decision, so I've just kind of not knitted on it. Normally I'd bring it everywhere I go, but if I'm pretty close to where I think I need to stop and do something else, then I kind of need to stop and make that decision. And I kind of really wanted to get the Outlaw finished, so I haven't given that any love. But I should say what it is. It's the
Everyday basic, no frills.
Everyday Socks by Tin Can Knits. I can never remember the name. They've got the Everyday Sock and the Basic Beanie and the Simple Sweater, and yeah, I can never remember which. But this is the Everyday Socks by Tin Can Knit, and I've done 2x2 rib for the same reason I did the 2x2 rib and the hat when I don't know the recipient. And it's knit in socks, easy wash, which is alpaca and nylon blend, so super duper soft, absolutely beautiful. Really need to get cracking on those because it's almost winter, and the recipient I'm sure would love to be able to wear them in winter time. So I'm knitting those for my daughter's husband's grandmother.
Yeah, and I can attest that the yarn makes really cozy socks.
Oh yeah, because you're wearing yours
I'm
again.
wearing mine again. Yep.
It's kind of cold today. It's come out. Anyway, let's not talk about the weather. Bloody blur. Okay, other whip. Oh, I didn't get the zipper. That's okay. I'll have it finished for next time. I'll have the zipper in, hopefully. This is a zipper sweater light man, and I'm making this for my friend Paul. It's a petite knit pattern. It has a half zip in it, so I've purchased the zip. I've purchased the petite knit zip in like a dark brown, like the chocolate one.
Quite a nice zip too. I like the wee dangle.
It's got a nice little pull on it. Yeah, I really like it. Great construction. I've enjoyed knitting it. I'm just in the boring round and round and round part. I've almost finished that now, so I've got about another 10 centimetres to go before I'm at the bottom ribbing. It's quite a lot of ribbing at the bottom as well. I can't try it on, so I was thinking I need to find somebody about the same height as Paul, but actually he's not that much taller than me, so I'll probably just try it on myself, and it just needs to be a long garment on me, so I probably want it to fit somewhere between something for you and something for me. And I also had full intentions of doing a mid-project block on this and getting the zip in, and then I'm like, ugh, I hate blocking. I'll just wait for the last possible moment to do that. Well, the lights just came on. Woo! So yeah, I have not done that, and I will be. Now our blinds are going down. We have an automation that goes off. It must be 5 o'clock. Yep, and it's at sunset. It's
okay.
5:05 and it's sunset. Sad. We're into winter. So sorry, it'll get a bit darker now. Anyway, so I was gonna I was going to put the zip in, but that's like the combination of having to block something and having to sew something. I'm just avoiding that whole situation. So I will probably now wait until I've done the whole garment and then just put this zipper in last. Somebody said, a few people have said to me that Craya Bayer, the Rebecca Clow, has a really good tutorial on how to put the zip in. So I'll watch a couple of tutorials. I know that Petite Knit has one as well, but I'm a wee bit nervous. I know how it works now, which is good. I can see that, but I'm still a wee bit nervous about making sure it looks really good, because if it was for me, I'd be like, I'll just wing it and see what happens. But because it's for somebody else, I want it to look really good. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. I was just thinking how good it's going to look when it's my turn.
I know, I can see your face. You're like, yes, I can't wait for me to have one.
Yeah, and you will have had practice putting in zips.
Yeah, so the yarn is Wild Earth yarn in the natural, so it's undyed natural yarn, and this is the colourway Pebble. I also have a sweater quantity of chocolate and a sweater quantity of Portobello, which is darker than this. I think it's browner, and so I will use one of those for making one for Stephen, or possibly we have a couple of really nice of the recycled yarns. There's like a green one and a really grey one.
I think I like the Portobello.
Yeah. So anyway, I will make one for Stephen as well. I have to knit my son one first.
It's okay. Yeah, there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
This is going to be for next year. I'm good.
Yeah, so that's the zipper sweater light man that I'm working on, and I'm really focusing hard on that now to try and get it finished. It feels kind of weird to only have one whip, because I've had like 4 or 5 for ages, and it's really nice to be free of any other whip and just have one to work on.
Nice. So, end of the whips. What do we have next? So, acquisitions over the last couple of weeks.
None. So Stephen did say on the last episode that he was going to go to Outlaw Yarn and do some picking of colours for his Henry VIII.
Yeah.
It didn't get there. That's
Didn't
fine.
quite make that, unfortunately.
No, it will happen, but plenty of time, because you've got other things to knit on. But do we want to get an update on the Henry VIII, because you were swatching?
We do. I do. So
I left for the day earlier, and I left Stephen with no cuff and an unfinished swatch, and I've come back this afternoon and we have half a cuff and a finished swatch.
Yes.
So somebody's been very productive.
So I've steeped the Henry VIII swatch now. So I used the method that we learned at Wire Wrap all weekend by knitting 2 swatches but in the round. And
so there's a steek down the side, and then there was a steek.
There was a wide. I did a wide steek and just a narrow steek. I was only ever going to cut it once. It really did solve the problem I had when I was swatching for Glenesque. There's no ends to worry about, and I really do think that I've got the right tension. I knit Magic Loop. Oh yeah, there's a few ends here and there. It's not the neatest ends. I didn't weave anything in. But yeah, I knit Magic Loop. I use a variety or a variation of Magic Loop that doesn't give me ladders. So I do get really good tension. So I've never had a problem. I know that people who knit Magic Loop can get, particularly for sleeves, they can get a bit tight. The way that I do it, I don't seem to get that problem.
No,
so it's
like a bit of a travelling loop. So you kind of let's not discuss.
Yeah, let's not dig into that too much. But basically, it gives you the same tension as you go around as if you would get it when you were knitting the main body of the jersey or the sweater.
Because you're never knitting along the needles. You're always knitting with 2 needles.
Yeah, it's always like you're knitting flat. So anyway, so the swatch itself, I was pretty pleased with how it came out. Another shot at steeking practice, because I need to get all the steeking practice in that I can, because
you've got steeking in your future.
Well, I do. Glenesque is steeked armholes and a neck hole, which I've never done before, so that's going to be new territory. And the next step for Henry VIII is actually going to be going out, getting some different yarn colours and swatching for size. So really I was just swatching for colour there. I'm not super concerned about the size because obviously I'm not intending to knit it in the Hebridean 2-ply.
Oh, so you need to do another swatch to test
the Rebel Light
fabric.
Yeah, I actually need to make sure that the Rebel Light gauge is on par or make adjustments accordingly.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair.
So yeah, that's
so no acquisitions.
So no acquisitions, and you've just heard my plans as well. So
yeah.
finish. And
do you think you'll finish Glen Esk before you start this? Because this is pretty much the same as Glen Esk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah. So do one, and then you'll straight back into this one.
That's correct. So Glen Esk is going to uses pretty much the same sort of techniques as Henry VIII. So it's a good opportunity to get some practice. Make sure I get the length right, make sure it fits well, and then effectively use what I learned from Glen Esk to make Henry VIII.
Which has been your kind of...
Henry VIII is, I won't say my white whale, but it's the one jersey that I saw a long time ago that I've kind of desired for better or for worse. So now I've got the opportunity to knit it. Maybe I'll knit 2.
No!
Maybe I will knit it
crazy.
in these colours after Rebel Light. Who knows?
No. Please no.
So anyway, Henry VIII.
Yay.
How about you, BB?
Oh, plans?
Any plans?
Oh, yeah. I did a swatch as well.
Swatches.
Mine's a bit more basic. So I did a swatch for the Stratified. So the next thing I'm going to knit is Stratified by Tif Neilan, and it's actually out of a Liner magazine, but I think you can buy the pattern separately now. In fact, I know you can because I purchased the pattern as well as buying the magazine.
Fair enough.
And this is knit in Rebel worsted, which you can buy. But this is my stash of Rebel worsted. So I have a bunch of stash yarn of this, and this is a really good scrappy project. So to use up scraps of yarn, it only takes... The Rebel worsted is 250 metres per 100 grams. So it's a good, decent meterage. So I only need... I think the most I needed is 270 metres of one colour, and that's the main colour, and I definitely have that. So I have a couple of balls of the brown and the white, and then I have one ball of the pink and the yellow and the green. So I have heaps enough. Well, actually, the pink I don't have enough of, but I'm actually just going to put less of the pink in and more of another colour.
You've got holes in the pink there. Surely that means there's less.
Yeah, sure, except the yarn over is actually more yarn.
I don't know. It looks like there'd be less. What do I know?
So the pattern calls for a 5mm needle, and I have actually knit Rebel worsted before on a 5mm needle. I've knitted another garment and with it, and I didn't love the fabric of it. It was quite loose gauge, and it kind of drooped quite a lot because it's not a highly structured yarn. And so I decided that I would try knitting it in just with a 4.5mm needle, just to see what gauge I got, and see if I like the fabric. And I really like the fabric. I think it's definitely the right needle size. It's still drapey enough that I'm happy with the fabric, but it's not it's not too tight, not too loose, basically. And so then I have the problem of is it
going to fit?
Is the gauge right? So the gauge isn't right. I pre-blocked, I believe it or not, I measured it pre-blocking and post-blocking. I did all the things you're supposed to. So
and you even remember what the results were.
Yes, that's right. So pre-blocking, it was 19 stitches per 10 centimetres, and post-blocking it was 18.5 stitches per 10 centimetres. So probably I'm going to be about 18 to 18.5 stitches. So pretty close, but there's a risk that actually it will be off gauge. It might be once I actually knit it, it might get it's probably not going to get bigger. It's only going to get smaller.
It will. It'll be smaller.
Yeah. So the thing that confuses me to start with is always that what sounds like, it's always measuring your gauge is the opposite to what it sounds like. So if I've got more stitches, so I've got 18 and a half stitches rather than 18, it means that my garment will be smaller.
Yes.
So my garment's going to be smaller. And so I went back to the garment. This is becoming a long story. This is going to be a long story short. Feel free to tune out. We've got nothing after this. We're just going to say goodbye once we finish this discussion. And it's going to include maths. So feel free to stick around. But I find this really interesting. I do it all the time. I'll just start by saying I now feel confident and regularly knit swatches for fabric to get the fabric I want and then figure out how to fit it to the pattern rather than adhering closely to gauge because the person who made the pattern doesn't know what yarn I'm knitting with and doesn't know what kind of knitter I am. So you need to be able to have some leeway. I mean, you don't have to. You could always just move on, and I have done that as well if I'm not sure. Anyway, so I knew that while I liked the fabric, my gauge was going to be off, so I needed to do some maths. So the useful thing about this one is that there were two sizes and I was kind of in between them. So the size 4 was 101 centimetre bust circumference and I'm about a 95 bust circumference, like that's me, and the recommended ease was 5 to 12 centimetres. And so the size 4 was 101, which would give me the lower end of the ease, or the next size up was 110, which would give me more than the upper end of that ease on the size. So I was either going to have to knit it quite tight or quite oversized. Yes. So it's not actually a problem for me that my gauge is tighter than the pattern. So Stephen did a whole bunch of maths for me to figure out which size I should be in and whether that was still going to be okay. So basically I wanted to knit the size 5, which is 110 centimetres of ease, but I actually want to move that down a bit. I want to get to about 112 centimetres of ease. That would be ideal for me. I wanted it to be oversized, but not too oversized. So, short story long, do you want to explain the maths?
Yeah, the maths was pretty simple.
It's not for me.
So basically, BB was a half a stitch out on her swatch.
So my gauge is tighter.
That's right. She's aiming for 110 centimetres around the bust, which is the equivalent of 11 swatches. So 11 swatches...
Because you do a 10 centimetre swatch and there's 11 10 centimetre swatches in a...
That's correct. 10 centimetres times 11 is 110.
So 110 was the size 5.
That's right. And so you're a half a stitch out. So a half a stitch times 11 is 5.5 stitches.
So by the time I finished, because my gauge was off, I would have an
extra 5.5 stitches.
Extra 5.5 stitches.
So 5.5.
Fewer 5.
No, you would have
fewer.
That half stitch. Yeah.
Fewer.
Yeah, you got me thinking. But yeah.
We do this all the time.
Yeah. If you were to be 110 stitches, you would need an extra 5.5 stitches.
Yeah.
And that 5.5 stitches is the equivalent of approximately 3 centimetres.
Yeah, based on my gauge.
Yeah. But because you're not going to knit that 5.5 stitches extra, because the pattern doesn't require you to do that, then that means that your circumference will be about 3 centimetres smaller than the 110.
Yeah, so
that's the maths.
Knitting the 100, so picking the 110 centimetre chest circumference size in the gauge that I've got will give me approximately 3 less centimetres of ease than what the pattern calls for.
Yeah, horizontal width.
Yeah, I haven't checked
Yeah, risk is the row gauge.
row gauge. Yeah, and I will check that, but I don't know. I jigger that around a bit, and that's usually fine.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing people say is sure you can play with the gauge like this, but you do have to watch the row gauge because
Particularly in a raglan, because it means you either are too high or too low.
yeah, you could wind up with really small armholes.
But that's easy done. And a lot of patterns actually say that. It says, now you've finished doing your increases, now knit until, I think this one said that actually, now knit until you've got the arm where you want it to be.
Yeah, I do like those patterns, the ones
Yeah.
that, knit until you get, this length or
Yeah.
that length, because you're not stuck on a formula.
Because this one, I think I knitted a few extra rows. You can actually see down here. I knitted a few extra rows
Right.
after the raglan increasing was finished.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the short story
I was
long
going to say,
there
what does that mean for your
does mean
Stratified?
that I'm 3 centimetres short in that size, but that's a good thing because rather than it being 15 centimetres of positive ease, I'm going to have 12 centimetres of positive ease, which is the upper end of what the pattern suggests. So basically, I do this all the time, and I actually don't do it by maths. I just do it by, I make an assumption. I go down a needle size and up a size, and every time I've done that, it's worked out just fine. So that is what I would have done even without the maths. I would have just gone down a needle size, up a size, and then just suck it and see to get the fabric that I want. And that is what I'm going to do now. And I guess
The fun part is we've said this now.
yeah,
We know what you're going to do. We're all going to watch you knit it.
and see what happens.
And then we're all going to see what happens.
Yeah. So bearing in mind that what I want is an oversized fit. I don't want it to be like, not even like this. I want it to be more like the one I was just wearing, or even more oversized than that.
Right.
More like my Monday sweater, which, I mean, you see, but they haven't seen for a while. But yeah, an oversized fit. Kind of weekend wear. Yeah, and these are the colours I've chosen. The colours, every time I look at them, I'm happy with them. Like, colour is a very personal thing, but I wanted something that was multicoloured, and I wanted it to kind of be pastel-y, but also bright. I don't know how to describe that. I'm not good at describing colour. I just know what I like, and I like this. So I think I'll be happy wearing this. But as I said before, I know I don't have enough of the pink in that bigger size. So I just need to make an adjustment when I'm knitting. I'll just knit a smaller amount of the pink. Or I could actually knit, and I've got 2 different shades of pink, so I could actually knit 2 shades and make a bit of a stripe of
Yeah,
them.
well, I mean, they are stripes too. So
Yeah.
well, you could shade them. You could have pink
Yeah.
and then pink. Yeah,
That's what I was
together.
thinking.
Yeah.
Knitting them as 2 shades when I get to the pink might look okay. I can give it a go, and if I don't like it, I'll pull it out and do it again. I could do another swatch, but I'm not going to do that because I feel like I deserve a medal for doing 1 swatch, let alone 2. So anyway, it's always a useful experiment to do these things just to see how it works out, and I've really enjoyed kind of figuring that out for myself. Yeah, with a bit of help with Stephen with the maths.
Yes. So
Is that everything we wanted to talk about?
I think that pretty
Checking
much
my
is.
board. Yep, that is.
So I was just wondering, and I'm pulling this out of the egg because I can't remember. Wool Fest and Wool Feast are coming up in New Zealand.
So Wool Fest is on this weekend.
Right.
It's been.
Yep.
And
so,
Wool Feast is in 3 weeks' time. So Wool Feast is in Christchurch, and it's our local kind of wool market day, and it's Sunday. Oh, it's Sunday the 8th of June, so it's in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah.
Yes. So looking forward
Is
to
that
that.
next weekend? I don't know. I've lost track of what week we're in.
Yeah, and also
week after
we're
next.
filming the week before the week that you see
Yeah,
this.
so it doesn't really make any
It's
difference.
It's coming up though. So
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. So we'll both head along to that and have a little bit of a look. I'm really desperately trying not to buy more yarn because I really do want to use up my stash. And I have a lot of knitting to get done with the stash that I have, but I know I will be unable to stop myself.
And I guess for the record, I don't have a stash. Much.
What does that even mean? You so do.
I have pre-allocated jersey garment
That's
lots.
still a stash. So do I.
Yeah.
Let's not argue about our stashes. We're not judging.
No, I could
no
buy.
judgment.
I could buy more.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. I will. I really do want to use up some of my yarn before I get more yarn. But if there's an opportunity to buy something that I really love, then I'll do it anyway. I usually use these shows as an opportunity to buy accessories, to be honest, because they're as fun as
and you don't see them. That's when the interesting things sort of come
past you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Although please shoot me if I don't shoot me, but
another
please
project
tell
bag.
me off if I buy another project bag.
Yeah.
Because I really don't need one.
No. I just use shopping bags.
I just love them. I know you do.
I'm really high end.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's enough. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm hoping that I have finished the Zipper Sweater Like Man and have cast on Stratified. But we will see. We'll see what happens.
Yep, and hopefully I will have done another pattern
Few
repeat
rounds
of Glenesque. Maybe I'll finish the done cuff. That will be
nice.
Quite likely. So we'll see where we get to.
We'll see.
Yeah, so thanks for lasting this long.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Especially if you got past the last bit.
Enduring through the maths and the really poor explanation for how swatching works.
How we struggle our way through it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, feel free to leave us a comment, a like, subscribe.
Or nothing, it's fine.
Yeah, just like I say,
we
feel
just
free.
appreciate you watching.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Goodbye.
Ka kite anō.